What's up, guys? Suckle King here, bringing you my first match for GBA Fan Draft League 2 versus Jerome O'Connor and coach of the Greenville Blaziken. I'm not sure what that team name means, but whatever. His team consists of, from most to least threatening, Zapdos, Nidoking, Mega Alakazam, Heatran, Mamoswine, Gyarados with Z-moves, Heatran with Z-moves as well, Hydreigon, and Buzzwole. Now with that team, it's pretty slow besides Alakazam, and a lot of things are in like the base 80 speed range, like Buzzwole, Gyarados, Mamoswine, Heatran, Nidoking, so hopefully I can take advantage of that. Zapdos is pretty annoying for my team just because it's hard to break down because I have Kartana plus Bulu. It threatens Manaphy, threatens Celesteela, it has Air Cutter for Infernape, could have Hidden Power Ice for Dragonite, and I don't really want to set up on that if I don't have to, because I can run T-Wave or Discharge. So really only Mega DNC is the safest answer for Zapdos, so I gotta watch out for that. Nidoking is good, but somewhat slow. It has really good coverage, obviously, and can be Scarfed. I expect it to be Scarfed. And that'd be annoying, but he can't Scarf into poison moves, obviously. Or like a fire move, even, because Dragonite will set up all over that. Alakazam, it's pretty much a must-bring just because of that speed. A lot of speed, everything on my team, especially stuff like Jolteon. Heatran, he'll probably be bringing because it's a fire type, and it handles Celesteela pretty well, especially if he's like Shucka, if he expects me to have Earthquake. Heatran's also good for Kartana and Bulu. I don't expect Hydreigon or Buzzwole, but he could. But those four I mentioned are definite brings, and I feel like Mamoswine and Gyarados are a good last 2 months. The top 3 things I think are most exciting to have seen are Manaphy. Manaphy Tail Glows, outspeeds everything except for Alakazam, and Speed ties max speed Zapdos. And with Hidden Power Electric for Gyarados, Ice Beam for Hydreigon, and Scald, I basically win. Celesteela, he has to be scared of that just because of Autonomize plus Z-Rock for Zapdos, plus Earthquake plus like Heavy Slam. That also destroys his team. So he has to watch out for that with Zapdos. Maybe he'll bring Charty Berry. Next, Mega DNT also has a really good matchup. Outspeeds everything except for Mega Alakazam again. Moonblast plus Hidden Earth Power for Heatran and Nidoking plus a Rock move for Zapdos. Decimates his team too. He could bring Air Balloon or Shucka Heatran. I would expect that if he brings it. So, team I have is, as you see here, Manaphy with max speed. I don't really need much more special attack than this to kill everything at his team at +3. I was either debating Lumberry or Wakanberry. Lumberry is there for like a discharge para from Zapdos, but I decided to go with Wakan with maybe something trying to weaken me down, and then he's going to try to revenge kill with Zapdos, but I should be able to take a hit pretty easily, or just set up straight up on a Zapdos and kill her with Ice Beam in return. Straightforward there. Celesteel's also pretty straightforward. Basically max attack. This allows me to kill defensive Zapdos after rocks with Rocky MZ Stone Edge. This also allows me to outspeed Alakazam, speed creeping max speed Jolteon if I get a +2 Autonomize up. I won't outspeed max speed Alakazam, but I would doubt he would bring that because he doesn't really need it. And then the rest in bulk to take hits easier. Next I have Mega DNC. I did mention Earth Power plus Rock Move plus Moonblast decimates his team, but I decided to run Protect over Earth Power just because he could bring Scarfed Heatran or like a Scarfed lead Nidoking, and I want to Protect just to make sure they stay in on that, because if I have Earth Power, I could just kill them. So if I Protect and they stay in, there's a reason why they're staying in. And Stealth Rock is also there too. Obviously, rocks are pretty good, though they're not the best against this team, but rocks are pretty important for Zapdos, as Celesteela can kill the Zapdos with Rock MZ. Next, I have Weakness Policy Dragonite. Agility, Thunderbolt, Earthquake, Drake, and Meteor. At +2, I outspeed a +1 Gyarados and a Scarf Nidoking. T-Bolt is there for the Gyarados, UQ to Heatran, Mega Alakazam, Nidoking, and then Drake and Meteor to Buzzwole, Zapdos, Hydreigon. This is not an answer to Mamoswine. Next, I have Kartana Life Orb to outspeed the Zapdos and return actually 2 KOs max defensive spread to after rocks, so that's really cool. He goes into Zapdos expecting to take a Leaf Blade, but he cannot take 2 returns. Aerial Ace for the Buzzwold, and then Sacred Sword plus Leaf Blade does damage to the rest of his team. And the last Pokemon I have is Infernape Choice Scarf to outspeed the Zapdos in case he's like a Scarf Zapdos spread. I also outspeed the Alakazam, which is cool. I can Thunder Punch the Gyarados. I don't have Stone Edge for Zapdos just because Flare Blitz only does 10% less damage than Stone Edge. I can't miss with it, and it does more damage than Stone Edge and Blaze. And then Flare Blitz plus Close Combat does a number to his team. I gotta watch out for Flare Blitz with Heatran just because he could get Flash Fire. And +1 Heatran is not the biggest problem to the team with Manaphy plus DNC, but it's something I don't want to let happen if I don't have to. So that's my team. Let's see how well it does in a match. Alright, here we are for the match. He does not bring the Mega Alakazam, which is kind of crazy just because Manaphy outspeeds everything on his team right now. He has to have Scarfers. But otherwise, Manaphy just comes in, Tail Glows, and should win, especially because I'm Wakanberry, so I can take a hit from Zapdos or any electric move, and he doesn't have grass coverage on this team unless he's a Solar Beam Heatran, I guess. But I don't really expect that set to come. No Buzzwole doesn't come, which is not a surprise. So I basically just try to figure out a way to win or do a lot of damage with Manaphy, and then my rest of the team should clean up. So I'm going to lead with my Mega DNC. He leads with Mammothine, so I'm going to protect just to make sure he's not a Scarfed Mammo, or maybe he's like a Focus Ash Mammo, so I just want to make sure he does not stay in. So I'm assuming that he's not Scarfed and not a Focus Ash, maybe Life Orb. So I'm going to protect here, and he goes for the Flash Cannon. So I expect him to be either Shucka or Shucka or Scarfed. So I'm going to switch him Infernape, which can take either of those hits. He goes for the Toxic there, which is fine. I'm going to U-turn out of here, predicting he doesn't want me to stay in close combat because it's really not a smart play for me to close combat with a Zapdos plus a Gyarados out there on the field, which are setup bait or potential static bait. Though not static at this point with Infernape, but I don't want Zapdos to get a free switch in if possible. So I'm going to U-turn out. He's not afraid that I am not like an expert belt set, which is cool. So I'm going to switch out and go to my Dragonite, just because that's really the only thing that wants to take either a Flash Cannon or a Toxic. I really don't want Manaphy to do that yet if I don't have to. But I go into Dragonite here, and then I switch into Manaphy. Some were predicting that I could have the Earthquake and knock it out and switch into, like, he goes into Gyarados or Zapdos at that point. So I go into Manaphy, and I know I could set up a Tail Glow on Zapdos and be okay. But he just stays in Flash Cannons to do damage. He could also have Hidden Power Ice there, so I'm surprised that he didn't do that. And just do a lot of damage to my Dragonite in that regard. Flash Cannon seemed like a weird play, so I'm guessing he doesn't have a Hidden Power Ice in this set. Probably a fire move for Celesteal, which makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to just Tail Glow up on this. He's going to stay in and like to go for the Toxic, and he misses, which is unfortunate. It could have made a difference if he decides to play like the Switch game, which you can't really play the Switch game with a +3 Manaphy and then outspeed your entire team, just because Surf does a ton of damage regardless of what the switch in is. And I don't think it makes too much of a difference in the end, but you guys will see. But that's certainly unfortunate for him. I can Surf, knock him out, no problems there. He's debating on what his next switch in is. He really doesn't have much. He's got to have a Scarf to outspeed me, but I don't think anything Scarfed can take me out. So he goes into Nidoking. I know he's Scarfed. He's going to go for their Thunderbolt. I don't really care. I'm going to knock it out. He actually goes for Sludge Wave, which is fine. It doesn't pop my Wakanberry, so I might be able to live a hit from Zapdos, which is cool, but I should be able to knock it out anyway. So I kill Nidoking with Surf. His next switch in is going to be the Gyarados, which I find somewhat of a weird switch and maybe expect I didn't have Hidden Power Electric, but Ice Beam plus Water plus Electric destroyed his team. There's no reason for me not to run it, and that goes down. So I feel pretty confident Manaphy's going to win at this point with the 3 last mons remaining, and he probably didn't want to sack it off for a reason. He goes to Hydreigon. He could be Yachi, which he probably lives that hit, but he is Scarfed. So he kind of sacked his Gyarados there. I thought that was a weird play. I guess maybe if I didn't have a Hand Power Electric that he could set up on me, but even Ice Beam would do a ton. And I have to have an answer for +1 Gyarados. There wouldn't be a reason for me not to have an answer for that. So that just seems like a weird combination there. But he goes for Draco and kills me, which is fine. I can go into Mega Diancie and basically get a kill, unless he goes into a Mamoswine and he's Scarfed, which I highly doubt because he would have stayed in on my Diancie if he was Scarfed earlier in the match. So I'm pretty confident just going for 2 Moonblast is going to kill anything on his team. So go for Moonblast, does a ton of damage there. He's going to go for the Ice Shard, and that's doing okay damage, but I'm able to kill the Mamoswine, so it's 5v2 now. I feel pretty confident in this match. He could probably go right back into Hydreigon and kill me with a Earth Power or a Flash Cannon. And at that point, I have to figure out what to go into next. So he is going to do that. I can protect and scout out what move he's going to go for, if it's the Earth Power or if it's the Flash Cannon. Celesteela was probably a safe play regardless, but I don't want to go into Celesteela yet just because his Zapdos can take a Rocky MZ hit, and I don't want to waste that if I don't have to. I would like to get Rocks up. He is going to make the double, predicting me to switch out into either, I guess, Celesteela or Dragonite. And I am going to go for Dragonite here, just because I know I can't kill the Zapdos from this range. So I'm going to just go for a Draco Meteor and do as much damage to Zapdos as possible. He is faster than me, which isn't too big of a surprise because I have very minimal speed on this Dragonite, but I do miss. So I am unable to figure out what the type of spread the Zapdos is, or maybe even the item. I know he is a max special attack based off that damage, but I don't know if he's a more bulkier spread or more speedier spread. So he's going to kill me with a second Discharge here. I don't want to go into Kartana because I can't live a Heat Wave. Infernape is a weird switch in just because I can't kill it from this range. Celesteela I can't kill from this range, so I have to go into Diancie and go for a Moonblast. Moonblast was the play just because if he goes to Hydreigon, I kill that. And if he stays in two Moonblasts are going to kill unless he gets a Para with the Discharge. And at that point, he might be able to Roost Stall me. But he goes for the Discharge, and he outspeeds, so showing that he's Scarfed. Zapdos as well, which can be a little bit of a threat at this point in the game. But I get a ton of damage off of the Moonblast, and at this point I know I win, just because my Infernape cleans up this match with Flare Blast plus Close Combat, and I'm not worried about getting staticked, paralyzed with the Zapdos just because I already got Toxic earlier on in the match. So it helps that I don't have to worry about getting staticked here, and then I might lose the game if that happens, just because Hydreigon can run Fire Blast, kill the Kartana, probably 2-hit KOs Infernape, but I could get parried there, and 2-hit KOs the Celesteela, so it'd be if I got paired with the Infernape plus Celesteela not being able to kill, then he could win this match, but he did not, so I can just switch out the Celesteela and try to get a 3-0 ideally, probably a 2-0. He is Scarfed in the Fire Blast, so I could have switched into a Infernape back into it because a Scarfed and Scarfed Fire Blast, even with a crit plus the poison damage, wouldn't have killed, and I would have killed in return with my Close Combat. So I guess that was kind of a misplay there. You want to try to get as high of a differential as possible in these types of games. But I guess it's alright getting the 2-0 victory. I expected more, honestly. He played this pretty well. I did not expect the triple Scarfers at all. And he kind of needed it with how slow his team was. So that was pretty good prep on his part. But it's just his team, just the quality of monster he has just wasn't good enough. But he has good potential playing-wise. So, good game. Let's see how well I do on my next match. Alright, here we are for the second battle versus Manly Soap. His team consists of, from most threatening to least threatening, Jirachi, Amoonguss, Blacephalon, Thundee, Megalopunny, Mandibuzz, Garchomp, and Azumarill. He has pretty threatening things at the bottom as Garchomp and Azumarill. But Garchomp has a little bit of an issue because Mega Diancie outspeeds, so he'd have to be Scarfed to outspeed that, and then I have Dragonite plus Celesteela, which would be a problem. Tapu Bulu can take hits as long as it's not a poison jab. Kartana outspeeds and does a lot and can take an Earthquake or an Outrage. Jolteon can outspeed with HP Ice. Dragonite can take a hit unless he's Z Garchomp. So that's weird there. And Azumarill, I do have Manaphy, Kartana, Bulu, Jolteon all for it. So I don't expect that to come. But my team, I feel like the three most threatening things first is Dragonite. Just because I feel like he's going to bring the Mandibuzz and the Amoonguss, and they both give me an opportunity to set up a Dragon as my Dragonite. And if I can kill both of them with a fly. Mandibuzz would have to take rocks, so take rocks. I Dragon Dance as he goes for an attack or whatever. He'd be at 82%. I can knock it out with a fly at this range, or if he's not physically defensive. But he does have Foul Play, so I have to watch out for that. Mega Diancie is really good just because it outspeeds Garchomp, outspeeds Blacephalon, outspeeds Thundee T, outspeeds Oko's Mandibuzz. That's a really nice matchup in this game, and Jolteon does really know it. Outspeeds his entire team unless he brings max speed a Mega Lopunny. It can take on Thundee T pretty well. Also outspeeds like the Blacephalon, Mandibuzz, again, HPH for the Garchomp, and HPH does okay, enough damage to the Amoonguss. So the team I bring first Pokemon is the Garchomp or the Dragonite with Flying EMZ with Dragon Dance, Fly, Earthquake, and Thunder Punch. Z Fly, as I said before, kills the Mandibuzz after rocks at +1 and kills the Amoonguss. Obviously, Earthquake is there for the Jirachi. It's not going to take a Z Fly plus an Earthquake. I guess unless he's scarfed into Ice Punch. Garchomp doesn't want to take a +1 Z Fly. It can take a regular Fly, but even at +1, so I gotta watch out for that. It really hits his entire team except for the Thunder's T. Thunder Punch is there for the Mandibuzz and the Azumarill. Yeah, I can't touch Thunder's T, so I have to figure out ways around that. And one way around that is the Mega Diancie, with enough speed to outspeed the Blacephalon. Moonblast Diamond Storm hits his team very hard, except for the Jirachi, and doesn't really do much to the Amoonguss, but that's why I have Psychic on there. He could expect Earth Power, so I don't know if Jirachi is going to be his initial switch in, unless he's like a Shuckleberry set, because he'd have to be either Scarfed or like very special defensive or Shuck to switch in and take 2 Earth Powers. And then Stealth Rocks for rocks to weaken the Thundee T and hopefully put Mandibuzz in range for Dragonite. Next, I have Jolteon with Life Orb, Thunder Punch, HPI sub, Baton Pass. I really only need Electric plus Ice. Baton Pass gives me momentum in case the Thundee T is on, and the Garchomp, I can just Baton Pass to gain momentum and not have to risk Volt Switch. If I can get a sub up, that'd be cool, but I don't really expect it. Like a Thunderbolt Life Orb will kill the Blacephalon after rocks, that's why I didn't figure to bring Shadow Ball. Next, I have Celesteela, which is max physically defensive, really to take on the Mega Lopunny, and that's why I have Leech Seed, Air Slash, Protect. And a Hidden Power Ice is also there for the Garchomp. Now I can Protect, and if he brings Z-Move Garchomp, he has Z-Move moves which are Garchomp and Thunderous T. So he could be either Fire EMZ or Rock EMZ with Stone Edge, and both, I believe, would knock me out if I don't go for the Protect at +2. But he might get after that, so it might be able to with the Mind Games if it comes to it. So that's why I Protect there. If I Protect on like the Z Stone Edge, then I think I should be able to live the Z Stone Edge through to Protect plus a regular Stone Edge and do a lot of damage. Did like 70-ish% with Hidden Power Ice to the Garchomp. Next I have Infernape with max speed to add speed the Blacephalon, Assault Vest, Mach Punch, U-Turn, Stone Edge, Flare Blitz. A little bit of an interesting spread. Blacephalon, I choose to hit it with Stone Edge versus Earthquake because Stone Edge hits Mandibuzz a little bit harder too. And it also hits the Thunderous, so that's pretty convenient there, at the cost of accuracy, of course. Flare Blitz, just for general utility at the Jirachi and the Amoonguss. U-Turn for momentum, Mach Punch hits Mega Lopunny, gets a little out of hand. I can do a lot of damage that way. And Assault Vest is there to take a hit from the Blacephalon, or the Thundee T if I need to, but it's mainly for the Blacephalon. And last is Kartana with Chople Berry, Swords Dance, Leaf Blade Knockoff. I outspeed his entire non-Scarf team except for the Mega Lopunny. And I do have Chople Berry to take a hit. Leaf Blade plus Knockoff hits his team really hard except for the Mandibuzz, which I have Toxic for because I really don't have a way to muscle through Mandibuzz. So I have to figure out ways around that. And I have the Celesteela, which can lead Seed a Jolteon, gains momentum. DNC can Moonblast it, and Dragonite's there. So I'm okay if Mandibus somewhat else is set. And Carton also gives me an out for the Azumarill if he belly drums up. So that's my team. Let's see what it does in the match. Alright, as you can see from his team, he does not bring the Azumarill, which I'm not surprised about, and he does not bring the Blacephalon, which I'm kind of surprised about. Blacephalon was nice to deal with the Celesteela, obviously, and like the Cortana somewhat and top of Bulu, if he was like scarfed for the Cortana, but I guess I did draft a team around so that way fire types and electric types would be a little bit of a hindrance if they did come. So I'm pretty happy about that. At this point, I'm going to follow my game plan, get my rocks up to chip down the Mandibuzz, try to get a sweep with Dragonite, but I do have to figure out a way to weaken the Thundurus before I'm able to do that. But I also didn't mention before I don't have a defog on the Cortana, so my priority here is to not let rocks come onto the field. So I'm going to lead with my Mega Dante no matter what. Even if he leads with like Jirachi and he's scarfed in the Iron Head and I die, at least I know he's scarfed and I can go into Dragonite and maybe Dragon Dance. But he does lead with the Jirachi. If he is scarfed, that's fine. I'll be able to get a free switch at that point, but at least rocks aren't on the field yet. So I'm going to stay in and get my rocks up because I want to weaken that Mandibuzz and the Thundurus T to help with a Dragonite sweep potentially. And he does go for the rocks, which is really nice, expecting my switch out. And again, I don't want him to get rocks up no matter what. I could easily make a switch into something predicting an Iron Head or something like that, like the Celesteela or the Infernape, but I don't want rocks up, so I'm going to keep staying in. I don't have Earth Power, so I got to chip it down as much as I can. So he stays in and goes for the U-turn, which is great. It was a middle ground play for him if I decided to switch out, which was a pretty normally logical play. And then he would gain momentum in that regard. But I did decide to stay in. He goes into his Garchomp. So if he is scarfed in the Earthquake, that gives me a free switch into my Dragonite. So I'm okay with him potentially go for the Earthquake and knock me out. Or I kill it. But he is scarfed, so that's fine. I can go into Dragonite right now and get off a Dragon Dance. Now, I have a little bit of an issue with this just because the Thumb DT is still a thing. And I can't really hurt it. But at least I'm at a full HP, so I can live a hidden power ice thanks to the multi-skill. So he's going to switch into its Mandibuzz here, and I can go for the Dragon Dance. I go for a second because I know I can take a foul play with my multi-skill, and I can wear down his team a lot, even if his Mega Lopunny is fake out. After the foul play, I should be able to kill two things for the price of one. So I'm okay with weakening his team in that regards, especially because I have rocks up. And if I killed the Mega Lopunny, or if he gets a lot of chip off of me, then Infernape is looking very nice. So he stays in and goes for the Roost here. So now I'm at +2. I can go for my Z move and kill anything, because the Jirachi's not going to take a Z-Fly plus an Earthquake. So I'm going to just go for the C-Fly here and knock out the Mandibuzz. He's not in great shape here. He still has a chance to win this game for sure. Goes into a Moongus, which is a weird play, because I can just normal fly. He tries to spore me, but he can't because I'm in the air, so he has to either sack something else off or hope I miss my fly and he can spore me in that regard. So he goes in as Jirachi, and I do a lot of damage, enough to where obviously any hit that I have would be able to knock it out. So the Earthquake does it. At this point he goes into Mega Lopunny, which I feel like he probably should have done a little earlier, to try to chip me down with Fake Outs, and hopefully be able to eventually wear me down, maybe get a crit. That does really no damage, though. Dragonite is very bulky. I love it in 8-mon format. So I can just safely fly here. I don't knock it out at +2 with an Earthquake, and he could have a lot of bulk, so I don't want to risk that. But I am risking that I miss the fly here. If I miss the fly, that'd be pretty unfortunate, just because Mega Lopunny is still a pretty big threat to my team, minus the Celesteela. So he's going to switch out, knowing how important his Mega Lopunny is, and he can continuously fake out. But luckily he goes into Thundurus T here. I guess he doesn't know what my last move is. It could have been Ice Punch pretty easily, but it was Thunder Punch, so I really had no way to hit this Thundurus T besides Fly. So that was great that he allowed me to wear that down and knock it out in 2 hits with Fly. So that's very unfortunate for him. If he knew that I didn't have anything to hit it, he could have lived this hit and probably killed me with a Hidden Power Ice. but I'm fine with this. I'm in really good shape at this point. I can just continuously fly. No need to risk it. Goes for the fake out. That's okay. As long as I keep flying, as long as I don't miss, I should be able to win this game. Goes for whatever move. Doesn't matter. And the moment of truth, do I hit this mega low punny? I do. So that's out. And at this point, he has no chance to win with a Moongus plus Garchomp. My Celesteela handles him, so even if I miss a fly, I'm still in great shape to win this. He goes for the Outrage. Obviously, nothing's there. Do I hit this fly on the Garchomp? I do. That's great. One more fly, and then the Dragonite gets a nice little 6-0 sleep right here. And spoilers, I do get it. I'm not going to drag this out any longer. I do hit with the fly, and I am able to win this game. So good game, Manly. So it brings me to 2-0 in this bracket. One more win against Jason Gallade, which is probably my second hardest battle besides A-Names. If I win against Jason Gallade, I automatically advance at 3-0 because I'm the last one who hasn't played games yet, and nobody else can get 3 wins in the bracket. So if I win against Jason Gallade, I don't have to really worry about my 4th match. But let's see if I can do that or not. Alright, here we are for the 3rd game of GBA FDL versus Jason Gallade. His team, from most threatening to least threatening, consists of Z-Move Tornadus T, Mega Gallade, Tapu Fini, Raikou, Drapion, Cresselia, Ribombee, and Lickilicky. Raikou also has Z-Moves. His first Warmont, very threatening. Torn T, Mega Gallade, Tapu Fini, Raikou. Last Warmont, extremely underwhelming. Drapion, Cresselia, Ribombee, Lickilicky. Even in like 8, it's a free draft. So in a free draft, I don't know if I really would get Lickilicky or Drapion. Ribombee's okay, Cresselia's okay. But I have pretty easy ways to handle all those. So I feel like this is one of my best matchups so far, but Jason Gallade's a pretty good battler. I've played him before, so I can't underestimate him. A couple things that handle his team really well are Manaphy, just because all that bulk, I can set up Tail Glows and out damage, like the healing that they'll be able to do. Torn T doesn't really want to take a Scold if it doesn't have to. Mega Gallade doesn't want to get burned. Really, only Raikou is the most reliable thing that can revenge kill Manaphy. Celesteela is really good in this match too for his bulk, because I can out-bulk them defensively and go for Leech Seeds and Toxics, I guess except for the Drapion. But Raikou is a problem, so I have to watch out for that, but I can handle Tornadus T, unless he's like Z Heat Wave. I can handle Mega Gallade to knock it out with maybe a Z Fly or something. And I can do a lot of damage to Tapu Fini with either Z Fly or the Z Heavy Slam. And then Bulu. Bulu, his resists, or Ribombee, which doesn't. It dies after rocks to Wood Hammer, and maybe like a physically defensive Drapion would be able to take hits. But otherwise, I can O-Code a Cresselia, O-Code the Lickilicky, a Raikou to Gallade. Torn T takes a lot of damage, especially after rocks, and obviously Fini. So as you can see here, the first mon I have, as I said, was really threatening, is Manaphy. Tailglow Scold, Ice Beam, Dazzling Gleam is pretty standard spread, but I do have the eject button. So the eject button seems kind of weird. What it does is, if I survive a hit, I can immediately switch out to a chosen ally. So if his bulk wants to try to take me on, then I can get a free switch into a Tapu Bulu and basically claim a kill. That's a lot of the purpose with this team, is trying to get kills to Tapu Bulu, because he really doesn't have anything great to handle it, unless he has Drapion. If he doesn't have Drapion, then Bulu wrecks his team. So that's why I have eject button, and then I can still set up a Tail Glow after the fact. But yeah, trying to get free switches into the Tapu Bulu, because the things that could handle Manaphy, like a Cresselia with Toxic or something like that, a Lickilicky, they don't really handle the Bulu. The next thing I have is a Weakness Celesteela. This is another reason why I have eject button Manaphy. So if I don't go into Bulu, I can go into Celesteela. So maybe his Raikou goes to a Thunderbolt. I live the hit with Manaphy. Actually, I wouldn't live the hit with Manaphy. But like if Torn T goes for a hit, if Tapu Fini goes for a hit in the Manaphy, like a Nature's Madness or something, I can bring in Celesteela, go for the Autonomize, hopefully get a Weakness Policy boost and win at that point. With my special defense investment, I can live a T-Bolt from Raikou. I can even live an Inferno Overdrive from Tornadus T. The 24 attack allows me to kill Mega Gallade at +2 with a Heavy Slam. A little bit situational there. The attack also allows me to get the Beast Boost and attack, because I have 268 attack versus 267 special defense. And the speed is there for the Tornadus T to outspeed it at +2 at the Autonomize. I don't outspeed the Rabombi, so he could stun Spore me, which would be unfortunate, but I'm okay to take that sacrifice. And I don't know if Rabombi comes this match anyway, because I have Mega DNC. But Earthquake hits the Raikou, Heavy Slam hits basically the rest of his team, and I have Leech Seed in case, like, early on, like if the Cresselia is there, I can Leech Seed and maybe bluff that I'm not a more offensive spread. And with my special defense, maybe he'll think I'm a more bulkier spread, or bulkier set. Next I have Tapu Bulu, Choice Banded. The speed allows me to add speed to Drapion if he doesn't have any speed. He'd have to put some speed creep into there, but I just nuke his team with Wood Hammer. Horn Leech if I want to recover HP if I need to. Stone Edge kills the Tornadus T, where a Wood Hammer might not after rocks, or definitely not with rocks up. So that might be nice there. And Roar in case of like a Cresselia gets out of hand or something tries to set up on my face. Next I have Jolteon with Life Orb, Volt Switch, Toxic Wish, and Power Ground. And Power Ground is there for the Raikou. Volt Absorb to take hits on a Raikou pretty well, because I do have a Manaphy that really gets countered by Raikou. Volt Switch to gain momentum. He has no ground on his team or electric immunities. And Wish in case I want to get a more HP off on a Manaphy or to Celesteela or some of my later mons. And Toxic is there for the Cresselia and the Licky Licky because I can't really get past them otherwise. Next I have Mega Diancie, max speed and a good amount of bulk, because I really didn't need the special attack investment, since it allows me to live a lot more hits than normal. Moonblast Diamond Storm hits his team super hard, and Toxic is there for like the Cresselia that I don't hit that hard otherwise, and Stealth Rocks to get rocks up in the field. And last, I have a Cortana at Choice Scarfed. Max attack adamant allows me to outspeed, I guess, like a Scarfed Drapion. It probably wouldn't come. It also had speed like a Scarf Finny. Again, don't think that would come, but in case it does, I didn't really need the additional bulk to outspeed maybe any additional other things on his team, and I have Adamant, so that's definitely good enough. Look at that base 507 attack, that's a ton. Leaf Blade hits his team a lot besides the Torn T and the Rabombi, which I can hit with Smart Strikes. Sacred Swords to hit Licky Licky a little harder. So that's my team. Let's see well it does in a match. Alright, as we can see from his team, he does not bring the Rabombi, which I'm not too surprised of, and he does not bring the Tapu Fini. And Tapu Fini is one of his 4 pretty good mons, even maybe he didn't have as great of a matchup as I thought, but I mean Tapu Fini can handle the Celesteela okay, takes on the Mega Diancie, takes on the Infernape, takes on the Dragonite, does a little bit of damage to the Manaphy. So I'm somewhat surprised, but again I do have Cortana, Bulu, Jolteon, which all wrecked Finny. It's not terribly surprised. But the game plan here is to weaken his team with the Bulu. He does have a Drapion, so I do expect it to be a max defensive or something so that way he can take 2 Wood Hammers. And at that point, either Manaphy or Celesteela can hopefully sweep once Bulu weakens his team. So I'm going to lead with my Jolteon. I lead with Jolteon. He does not have a rocker as well, which is really nice. I don't think I pointed that out. I didn't point that out in the team builder, but he doesn't have rocks, which just makes my life so much easier. I do have a Defog on Cortana in case he does have T-Spikes, and I don't have my DNTN, so I have to watch out for that. But this is a really free Volt Switch for me. He goes into his Licky Licky, and from this damage, I can tell he's a little bit more specially defensive because I am Life Orb. So I'm going to go right into my Bulu and see what a switch-in is, which the answer is Drapion, but let's see how much the Wood Hammer does to the Drapion. And he brings it in, and it does over half, which is great damage, but it doesn't mean, this means that he's not a max defensive, and it is a role to kill at this point. He could also have a little bit of speed to outspeed Bulu, so there's no point in me risking it if I don't have to. So I can go to my DNC pretty safely, assuming he's going to go for the poison jab, and he does, and it does not do much damage at all, especially because I'm in a regular DNC form, and no need to go to Cortana at this point. Though Grass boosted Leaf Blade, he really didn't have any switch-ins to either, ironically. That'd be pretty funny. But DNC gives me an opportunity to get my Mega off and go for my Rocks to chip down the Torn T and just chip down his whole team in general. With my DNC, I really don't want to stay in on it, so I'm going to go to my Celesteela, assuming he can't do much to me, and I can get free lead seeds off. You go for the Wish, assuming he's going to go into Drapion, but I don't want to reveal the Earthquake yet, and I might not kill it because it's more physically bulky. So I just go for the lead seed, and maybe bluff them a more defensive spread. But I don't want to get knocked off, so I'm going to go right to my Mega DNC, and he goes for the T-Spikes. A little bit of a weird play, but now it's great because he has to deal with trying to figure out a way to get rid of the poison. He doesn't have a defogger besides Torn T, which I would kind of doubt would be a defogger, so at this point he'd have to bring back in the Drapion. So unless he brings in the Crest or the Torn T here, I will be able to get poison off on something, which is pretty cool, and I'm back at full HP with this Drapion here. So at this point, I feel like a Moonblast is a pretty safe play. He goes into his Cresselia, and even though it's a Cresselia, I still feel like I do pretty good damage with this Moonblast. And to the point where I can go for the Toxic and really wear down this Cresselia, so it can definitely not take on the Bulu well at all, and maybe make my sweep with Celesteela a little bit easier. To go for the Moonblast does decent damage. The special attack drop is really nice. His Psychic is going to do absolutely nothing. And he's in a pretty tough situation here. He wants to get rid of these T-Spikes. He's going to have to let his Crest go down to get a free switch into something. So he is healing up, but he's getting worn down pretty quickly. He's already under half. My whole team can pretty much knock it out at that point pretty easily. He goes into Licky here, which is kind of weird because I wear that down a ton, to the point where I actually knock it out with a Diamond Storm because I figured out he was more specially defensive, so Diamond Storm was going to be able to kill that range. So that's great for me. He goes into the Drapion to get rid of the T-Spikes, but again, I'm going to just attack what's in front of me. DNC has a little bit less usefulness. I mean, I could still somewhat revenge kill the Gallade, and I can take a hit from the Torn, but I'm assuming Torn is something to hit the DNC for, and I'm assuming Raikou can just Volt Switch out and do decent damage. So DNC's not super useful, but it's still really nice, and he decides to sack his Cresselia off. So he basically sacked 2 Mons because I was able to get T-Spikes on his side of the field, which is really great, and he's in a pretty tough predicament, though he does have his 3 most offensive threats still in the game, so I gotta make sure he doesn't sweep me in that regard. I'm gonna just stay in and try to kill, again, what's in front of me with a Diamond Storm. If he U-turns out, great. If he's Iron Tails, there's a chance that he could miss, and I do have the +2 defense, so I don't think that makes a difference. And he could Hidden Power Steel, but he decides to U-turn out and go to his Raikou, and I'm gonna get a really, really nice chip off. But at this point, I don't want to sack off my DNC yet. He could kill me with the Hidden Power Steel here, and I have a really easy safe switch into my Jolteon. So he could have subbed here. Maybe Calm Mind would have been an issue, but I do have Hidden Power Ground, so I'm not too worried about that. He goes for the Thunderbolt, heals me up, which is great. I can go for the Volt Switch here, or go for the Hidden Power Ground to kill this off. But I decide to go for the Volt Switch. I don't go for the HP Ground just because it would kind of give a free switch in the Gallade, and he could set up a Sword Stance, and at that point that'd be a little problematic if he's like with Shadow Sneak and get some crits. So no need to risk that. I'm going to switch up and go into my Celesteela, go for the Hidden Power, and I'm going to try to set up a sweep here. I know I can take a Thunderbolt from this range, so I'm going to just go right for my Autonomize. He is a subset, which is pretty cool. I kind of expected based on my team, but just to make sure. And at this point, I can Earthquake. I outspeed his entire team, unless if he's Scarfed Torn T, which I don't think I would know that yet. Based on Thunderbolt damage, it does not do much at all, and I'm in really good shape to win at this point. I have Earthquake, Heavy Slam, and that's it, because my 4th move was Leech Seed. So early on in the game, trying to bluff that it was a more defensive spread with the Leech Seed especially because I really didn't need any other attacking moves besides Earthquake and a Heavy Slam, really paid off, as I'm sure he did not expect this offensive Celesteela spread with a lot of special defense bulk. So I'm able to clean up the rest of this team with Heavy Slams. So good game, Jason Gallade. This will bring me to 3-0, and I'm guaranteed at least top 2 out of 5 in my pools, which is great. It's also great because I didn't really want to build for a names team, especially because I was pretty busy this week. So a lot of these games were played towards like the last couple of days out of like the 8 or 9 days that we had to play these games. And I really didn't have much time to build for a name at all. So I could have taken a forfeit 3-0 loss, but I wanted, in the off chance that we would play each other in future brackets, I decided it didn't make any sense to just take a 3-0 loss. So I did bring a team with just 5 Smogon sets and a offensive Celesteela just to see what a switch-ins were for that. So I gathered a lot of information in that game. I got blown back 6-0, and there was a lot of hacks, but I also didn't care if I won or lost that game. I put a minute or two's effort into the Celesteela and just took Smogon sets for the last 5. So I didn't really care about my placement. I just wanted to get information because he said he was going to bring his best team to the match. So I can try to scout that out if he played later on. But now I know, and I am 3-1 and past the bracket. So we'll see how well I do in a round of 64. Until next time, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.